Welcome to Helping Hands with your hosts, John Neiman and Judy Ritchie.
Hello, and welcome to Helping Hands. This is our opportunity to let you and the community know how you can lend a helping hand to a program or an agency in need. I'm Judy Ritchie with Oshkosh Family Meals on Wheels.
And I'm John Neiman with Aurora Medical Center, and welcome to our April edition of Helping Hands. We're so glad that you could join us. Where can you see us? You can see us. I love this. They're so good that I don't have to have a cheat sheet in front of me with my bifocals. You can see us on CATV2, also on Charter 984, and you can listen to us on the radio at 101.9 FM. We're here today because of the wonderful sponsorship of Aurora Healthcare and also our beautiful spring set design by Harnix. We're so glad the weather has changed for the better and we can celebrate spring. And we're so glad that you, our viewing audience, is with us today. Judy, would you like to introduce our first guest?
I would, and actually she's representing a former guest group. And so much good information from before that we felt that we wanted to have them back and kind of expanding on what we'd already learned. This is Liz Wackenfuss from the Community Blood Center and the Be the Match program. So welcome, Liz.
Yes, thank you for having me.
We're glad you could be here.
Yes, thank you.
And the Community Blood Center, you want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. We were formed in 1955. We're an independent organization, a nonprofit group operated by a board of directors. Our main focus is in the Fox Valley here. So Appleton, Oshkosh, and Little Chute are kind of where we focus our efforts in saving lives in those communities.
And we see the bus out on the street, in the parking lots, a lot of areas, correct?
Yes, our buses go out and about. Last year they traveled enough to go around the globe actually more than 2 times. So they are out every day, and we do have 7 different buses in our fleet. So you'll see a variety of different buses with our logo going out to make it convenient for folks to help save those lives.
And speaking of the buses, one of the sites that you go to is Aurora Healthcare in Oshkosh, and that's also why we have you on today to promote the blood drive. Our blood drive is a little different too because we bring the donors into the building, so they don't have to wait in line and sit for the bus. They can sit inside in a wonderful, warm, relaxing room, get some refreshments, and meet you nice people who are there for a great cause. Why is it so important to have these blood drives?
The blood drives are responsible for about 60% of our blood collections throughout the year. And in those communities that we serve that I mentioned earlier, at the 18 hospitals, we need 1,000 units of blood every single week. So about 600 units a week come from our blood drive. So it's really important that we're able to find partnerships like we have with Aurora Medical Center to be able to make it convenient for folks to help us out with our mission.
And you can see on our screen for our radio audience also, as well as our TV, the next blood drive at Aurora is Friday, April 17th from 10 to 4. It's in the first floor conference room, which is known as A and B, right across from the gift shop. Walk-ins are welcomed, but what does somebody need to bring when they come? Maybe they're a first-time donor and don't know what to expect.
Sure. It's a very simple process. It takes about a half hour to 45 minutes from start to finish. So they'll first begin with paperwork where you just present a photo ID. You'll be asked some questions on a confidential health history form. And we call that the registration part. Then you go and do a mini physical. So we check your blood pressure, your temperature, and your iron level, as well as just make sure your overall health is A-okay and you're feeling good for the day. And then you go on to the donation, which is actually only 5 to 7 minutes. And that's where we take the 1 pint of whole blood from you. And then you're on to juice and cookies and just get to relax and recoup a little bit before you head back about your day.
So the process is streamlined.
Yes.
Very much so. So you like to have appointments because that way you can plan.
Yes, that helps us plan for what supplies to bring, how many staff to bring, those kinds of things. But if you do just come across a few free moments, we certainly do try to accommodate everybody as well.
Now, are there any restrictions on age?
Yes, you have to be at least 16 years old to donate, and 16-year-olds do need a parent permission slip signed, but there is no upper age limit, so as long as you're feeling well and healthy and weigh at least 110 pounds, we welcome you to donate.
Okay. Now, you do these, you partnership with a lot of businesses.
Yes.
Because that way you're involving the employees, which we already know through our discussions. There are a lot of companies in our town who do the same thing with their employees, sending them out into the community to volunteer. In this way, they're also volunteering because they're giving blood for an important cause.
Yes.
So there are relationships built up there. I know with some of the employees we have, they always ask, when is the next drive, etc.
Yes, and we have a lot of regular blood donors that have reached different milestones on gallon levels. We just had a recent event and we were all the way up in the 20 gallons. And so every 8 times is 1 gallon. So you can imagine how long some of these people have been helping us out as volunteer blood donors.
What's the time frame then? If somebody gives at the Aurora one coming up, on the April 17th, how long do they have to wait before they give again?
56 days, and that allows your body to replenish what we took from you last time, plus an extra 4 weeks of just kind of making sure your fluid levels are okay and everything like that. So every 56 days you can donate, which is about 6.5 times a year. So for the people that are, really thinking about how many lives they can impact, and every donation can save up to 3 lives as well. So
perfect.
So then with these donations, we can't make it April 17th. So how would we go about finding out where we could go next?
Yes, if you go onto our scheduling website, which is www.save3lives.org, you can type in your zip code there and hit enter, and it will pull up all of the blood drives that are open to community members. It will also give you the information on our fixed sites, which is where we're just kind of permanently set up on a regular basis. And there's one here in Oshkosh, over on Amro Road, across from the Lowe's over there in the little strip mall with M&I Bank. So 2100 Amro Road. We're there on a regular basis as our permanent site.
Oh, and that's good to know.
It is.
So I
It's
didn't
very
know that
handy.
either.
Yep.
So that's open every.
That's open Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays, and select Sundays.
Oh, okay.
The Sunday ones are good for people that are really time crunched during the week.
Yep, which is also why we do try to get out into the community to make it convenient for people, because we realize, that we do ask kind of a lot to give, the pint of blood, but we do appreciate it.
And there are some people like myself, the doctor always laughs at me because the only really thin thing on me are my veins. And it's like they have to use the smallest needle, and then sometimes I feel like you're at a gas station. I can't top it off. It stops there. So at least people should try.
They should try. And one thing to do, if you think that might be an issue for you, is to hydrate really well. So we always suggest 8 to 10 glasses of water a couple days before, so that your body is really prepared for that. It just kind of helps open things up, and also to avoid caffeine, which restricts your veins. So if you can go without coffee for the morning, or at least wait until after your donation, that does always help too.
And the hydrating is very simple to do, really. Since my pneumonia last year, I really do a good job of it. I have an insulated mug, and I fill it with ice early in the day, and I just keep replenishing the water, and I drink lots more than I used to, when I was doing the soda or the coffee or whatever. So when people talk about needing to be hydrated, it is an easy process. Seniors are dehydrated a lot, and with this, it is really truly important. So it's a good way. Along with the blood drive, you're doing something else that's really special.
Yes.
Really important.
Yes. April is actually Celebrate Life Month. So in addition to the blood drive, we're going to be partnering with the National Bone Marrow Registry, where we'll be doing a Be the Match registry drive as well. And what that means is we'll have the opportunity for the donors to join the registry, which is really simple. You just do some swabs on your cheeks, and that goes into a database, and they test it against people that need bone marrow transplants. And so the first part is really easy. It's just the swabs and another short questionnaire. And if you are found to be a potential match, what they'll do is they'll actually bring you in, no expense to you, to the nearest center that helps us out, and they will do a blood draw to see if you have additional markers that match to make you the perfect match. And then if that's the case, they'll again at no cost to you take you to the hospital to do the bone marrow harvest. And then, help save a life again that way. The awesome thing about the bone marrow registry, you don't have to do it every 56 days. Once you join it, you're on it until you're 61.
Okay.
And the target age for this is really 18 to 44-year-olds, because we do find those have the best chance of matching and having healthy bone marrow. So that's kind of the age that we're targeting for that, as well as minorities. Everybody's invited for this because that does offer the best chances a race-to-race match for bone marrow as well.
And we know that Aurora's had this partnership with you guys, the Community Blood Center, with donating the blood. And then one of our leaders, Chad, was at Leadership Oshkosh, with someone else who was a donor and got very interested in this and said, this is something Aurora needs to support. So we're so glad that it went full circle. And the support from that, there was a great article in the paper a little while ago about the Titan.
Football player.
The football player who was a
Yes.
match and was able to do that. And so we're excited that at our next blood drive on April 17th, you also have a chance then to find out more about Be the Match program. The one myth that our guest dispelled last time was the pain. Everyone thinks of the bone marrow and the
They're
needles
drilling.
and the pain.
Yes.
And he assured all of us that the process was simple and it didn't hurt, and he was able to get up and do things, and he was very energetic. And I understand from last time that he's doing it again, that he was a match
He
again.
was another match again, and they're just waiting for the further testing to see if he is the perfect match, is what they call it. But the process is really easy. There's actually 2 different ways to donate bone marrow, and the doctor will decide based on the recipient what way will be performed. So there's kind of the traditional taking it out of your lower back, what everybody thinks of, but that's only about 25% of the time. The other way is a lot like donating blood, where they hook you up to a machine and they cycle your blood through this machine, and it takes out just the bone marrow from your red blood cells and puts the rest back into you. So that way is actually really pain-free. You hardly notice anything. There's a little soreness that comes with some medication you have to take beforehand. But there's really no pain afterwards. But then with the one where they do take it from your lower back, you are under a general anesthesia, so you're not awake for this, really painful event. And, it is an awesome opportunity to save a life for somebody. You could be the only person that matches for them.
Right.
So we do try to create awareness and let people know that this is really needed. And it was actually started by a group of 10,000 blood donors. When a family didn't match, this group of blood donors banded together and said, let's form a coalition to create awareness and get more people on the registry to help save lives. So.
And the one thing that I find interesting, because we started this program to talk about volunteer opportunities in our community and all the different agencies, and we learn so much. But people think about volunteering in so many...
Spending your time
Yes.
and not necessarily giving of yourself.
And the younger
Literally.
people who are so busy today with all of the groups, I know Oshkosh has Propel and other groups, they're so busy, they want to do something, but time isn't there. So donating blood is a way of doing it. Signing up for the Be the Match is another way.
Yeah.
Another way of doing it, which we would not have thought of. Us who go back a little, who go back a little ways. You always think of the time aspect, but and also sometimes people want immediate. They want immediate results, and giving blood is an immediate thing that a volunteer can do.
It is, and when you think about saving a life, doctors, nurses, firefighters, police, they all have to go to school for quite a long time to help save those lives. And blood donors, as soon as you're 16, you can save a life with just, a few minutes of your time, really. So it's one of the easiest ways, I think, to help save lives. And with the juice and cookies afterwards, who can say no?
Yes, exactly. Now, if you want to talk about, there are times during the year that you really are desperate for blood, when are those time frames that it just seems to go down because of things going on?
Sure. We're just coming off of one, and that's the winter holidays. We have a really difficult time during that time because people become busy and they think that other people are doing it for them. But it's not true. We always need the blood. It's a constant need. It's not just when accidents happen or, bad tragedies and things like that. It's really a constant need. So that 1,000 units we talked about earlier is constant throughout the entire year. It's over 50,000 units a year that we need. So the winter is a really difficult time for us, as well as summer. Again, people are getting busy. There's no school in session. And actually about 17% of our blood does come from schools in the area. So we're always looking for ways to boost our collections during the school year as well.
Which I've seen that too, which I really think is great for a lot of the student councils and that, because you do drive by and you see your bus at like Lourdes, for instance, which is really great because it is a way of capturing those younger people.
It's getting them started early in life.
Yes.
Getting them set in that habit early on, in something that they can carry through to their retirement years and beyond.
So we're excited to have you. Daryl, our wonderful technician here, is telling us the time is going down. So
Okay.
let's stress again. We'll stress again the date and time of the next blood drive at Aurora with the Community Blood Center. And again, it's on our screen for our audience. It's Friday, April 17th from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. anytime during that time frame. It's in the first floor conference room. So if you use the main hospital entrance, come on in, hang a left. It's right in the conference rooms across from the gift shop. People will be there to help you. It's nice to make an appointment ahead of time so they can plan out things, but also walk-ins are welcome, and also you can be there for Be the Match. If you want to make an appointment, you can call myself at Aurora also. Our numbers are at the end, and then I can put you in touch with Erin, our wonderful person at Aurora who does all of the scheduling. Anything else you want to say in the last few seconds before we close out?
Just think of us during the winter and the summer months when we do struggle, and we do appreciate, even if you can't give every single 8 weeks, just trying to make a point for it throughout the year, something to be cognizant of. So thank you for having us, and we look forward to seeing you guys at Aurora.
Oh, and thank you very much. We're so glad with the partnership and to promote something, something so important as that, and for you to be here on this beautiful day
Yes.
in April also. So thank you very much for being with us also. We appreciate it.
Right.
Yeah.
And
Thank you.
just the fact of being able to save lives. Isn't that a great feeling?
Yes.
It is.
Yep.
It is. And to, like you said, to give the blood, to know that it's going somewhere useful, because sometimes you
staying
don't.
local.
Sometimes you donate things, you don't know where they end up.
Yeah.
Here, it's staying local, as Judy said, and it's benefiting our community. So
Yeah.
thank you once again.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you also for staying with us for this first segment. Stay tuned, and we'll be back for our second segment of our April edition of Helping Hands.
Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow. When we see a roundabout, take it slow. Let me pick the correct lane and take it slow. When we see a car approach, we yield to the left. When we're in that roundabout, we don't pass anybody yet. Take it slow, take it slow, take it slow.
Visit WisconsinRoundabouts.com for more info from the Wisconsin Department of Transportation.
Wisconsin is losing our World War II veterans. If you were a World War II veteran, or you know one who hasn't gone on an honor flight to D.C., please help us. The Wisconsin Broadcasters Association is partnering with all Wisconsin Honor Flight hubs to make sure every eligible vet remaining who served their country so selflessly gets the chance to go. It's time for them to see their memorial. It's time for their flight. To learn more or to make a donation, go to wisconsinhonorflight.org.
Welcome back to Helping Hands, our wonderful show which puts the spotlight on volunteering and volunteer opportunities and agencies in our wonderful community. We want to talk to you about volunteering right now because April, and specifically April 12th through the 18th, is National Volunteer Recognition Week. Judy and I have the aspect that we recognize our volunteers
Pretty much every day,
Every
every time we
day.
see them, every time we talk to them.
all year round. But this is a nice week that's set aside for everyone to think about and to honor their volunteers. So let's talk, Judy.
Okay, so this is actually a national week that was set aside 40, 50 years ago to recognize volunteers. And back then, people really didn't think in terms of, I'm a volunteer. It was a lot of the neighbor helping neighbor. I mean, I grew up in a farming community, and it was just the natural thing of going and helping your neighbor with the baling, or the hay, whatever, and like helping my grandmother with the cooking and the cleanup and the whatever needed to be done, or when somebody passed away or was sick, you made a dish and took it to them so that they didn't have to do the cooking, that they had something ready for them. And then it got to be more getting involved in the schools in a different aspect, and more in the churches, and more church outreach to the community. And from there, it's just really exploded.
And churches really have been progressive in a lot of areas with a lot of programs that they actually started first and then became popular. I think of parish nursing is one too.
Absolutely.
I think of the food pantries is another one. And volunteering is a great one. And we get questions a lot. I do get calls. I know that Judy gets calls too from people who say, I want to volunteer. Where can I go? What can I do? The first thing I wanted to bring up is the Oshkosh Northwestern on Sundays.
There's always the column, volunteer needs.
Yes, volunteer needs, and we get calls from that all the time. This is for any community group, not for profit. Their needs can be put in here, and the Northwestern does a great job of focusing on that agency. Your agency's been in there, my agency's been in there, and then also giving contact information. So that's one place that people can find out more about volunteering in our community. Of course, the other place would be Judy or myself.
People are always stopping me in the store when I'm at a meeting. What about? And I was emailing back and forth with someone to the last couple of days about having pet food sent out with our volunteers with the meals for homebound folks. And we've surveyed our folks, they're not interested, but there are a lot of programs across the country that do. Well, from these emails back and forth, I knew that the community pantry has dog food, cat food, and that the Humane Society does some temporary emergency type assistance to folks. But what I didn't know, and Cheryl Hentz, who a lot of us have known for a long time, emailed me to say that First Congregational Church has an animal ministry.
Yes.
And a lot of folks that are involved that are not of First Congregational Church. But again, they can do some of the temporary things. They're really great outreach to the community. Something we maybe wouldn't have thought of a few years ago.
And that's the great thing in this. I'm slowly getting into the technology thing of things, but computers and email, you can get information so fast, you can find out information so fast, and that's a blessing. We also belong to a group in our community that's been around for ages. It's called AVA, Alliance of Volunteer Agencies. It's people coming together to share information on what's going on, and we have a lot of good going on in our community. Our next AVA meeting is going to be on May 12th, hosted this time by Advocap. And we're excited about that because there might be a couple special announcements of things that are going to be happening in our community in regards to volunteering and getting more involved in volunteering. So stay tuned for that. But we have lots of different avenues to give to you about volunteering. We get lots of questions about what's the age limit for volunteering. I only have 5 hours to volunteer. Where can I go? Well,
Do I need a background check?
Exactly.
Do I need a blood test? Do I need a TB test? Do I need? And a lot of our programs do require background checks. And it's not because we don't trust you folks out there. It's because of the whole liability factor. It's actually to protect you.
Right.
Protect you as much as it is anyone else.
And talking about the volunteer process, a lot of people are very, very eager to volunteer, and they think that they can just walk in and volunteer. Even besides the background check, there's then also, for us in healthcare, no matter what, whether it's a nursing home, assisted living, etc., there's all the health things that need to be checked out, whether it's flu shots, all of that. And then there's the orientation. So it's to dispel the myth that you can just come in and volunteer right away, because we all do have established programs.
Right.
The one that I wanted to mention too is if you have 5 hours to volunteer, God bless you, because we really want you to volunteer. But there are places that will take you. Salvation Army is one that can definitely use
Sherry's
use you.
always looking for someone, because a lot of need going with the meal program. Somebody that can come in and do some prep or some cleanup, who can do some serving. There's always unloading supplies and straightening the storeroom. They've got the pantry there also, and so to do things like that. 'Cause again, a lot of the volunteers that she's had for years are just like the rest of us, aging out. And so having new young people is wonderful.
And we always encourage family volunteering. There's events where you can get together as a family and volunteer. You don't have to make that long time commitment. We still have snowbirds who are coming back now because it's spring. When they go away, their tasks have to be filled by someone. So this is our opportunity where we really want to say thank you to all of our community's volunteers, no matter who you volunteer for and what you do. Let's celebrate all of our volunteers, specifically too on April 12th through the 18th, which is National Volunteer Week. Thank those people. A lot of people don't want recognition, but a thank you is something that will put a smile on everybody's
They
face.
do. And so many folks say, but I'm not a volunteer. I just do this because I enjoy doing it. I'm not a volunteer. And my response to that is, you are a volunteer, and it's not just a volunteer. Volunteer is a really important person. We couldn't do our programs without them. And so, again, it's a thank you, heartfelt. My volunteers love the chocolate they get, or just the fact that I show up where they're picking up the meals. So,
And this is a special chance because we're hosting the show that we can do a shout out. I want to shout out to all of the people, the agencies who support Aurora Healthcare, and I'm sure Judy wants to shout out to her
well,
peeps.
our Meals on Wheels folks are wonderful, and they take such pride and ownership in the program, and they're my best recruiters for new volunteers.
Exactly. As we always said, word of mouth is the best. And we want to thank the volunteers here at OCM. One of them is Daryl, who's telling us we're almost out of time. Again,
They make us look good.
Yeah, they do make us look good. The camera, that special camera and everything like that, hair and makeup, it's all a blessing here. So thank you all very much. We do want to thank our sponsors, Harnix and also Aurora Healthcare. And I want to personally thank you too. I'm John Neiman with Aurora Medical Center.
And Judy Ritchie with Oshkosh Family Meals on Wheels.